In 1962, the market value of a New York City taxi medallion was about $25,000. The price steadily rose, and in about 2013, a medallion would cost over $1 million. So, how much is a medallion worth today? Well, practically zero. Last year, in July 2019, 16 medallions were put up at an auction. 3 of them sold for about $130,000. The other 13 had no bidders. So how did this happen? Well, in this episode of Origin, we cover the rise and spectacular fall of New York City taxi medallions. For those of you who don't know, the taxi medallion is a special plate fixed to the hood of a cab that legally permits it to pick up passengers on the streets of New York. If you've never seen one, I highly recommend you do so. You could find it by just looking at the hood cover of a taxi. There you will see the taxi plate number, the TLC commission stamp, and of course, the city of New York. Local politicians originally devised the medallion system in 1937 in an effort to tamp down on illegal cabbies. The original price of a medallion was about $10 then, but as I mentioned in the beginning, the price steadily rose. One of the covert goals of the taxi medallion system was to limit the supply of drivers on the road. That way, cabbies already in the industry could make more money. Not a noble cause. This last point of restricting the supply of taxi drivers in the market is not trivial. When New York City officials came out with the medallion system in 1937, they released 13,585 medallions into the market. Fast forward to today, in 2020, there is now 13,587 medallions into the market. That means since the 83 years of its inception, only 2 medallions have been added in New York City. To give you a fair comparison, New York City's population in 1937 was 7.3 million. Today, New York City's population is about 8.5 million. That means that while 1.2 million people has been added to the city, only 2 medallions has been added for this additional demand. This phenomenon is known as artificial scarcity. Now, this is a gimmick that's pulled by many industries, from the diamond industry to the real estate industry to even corporate stocks. It is one of the primary reasons why the taxi medallions went from $10 in 1937 to over $1 million in 2013. Why on earth would anyone pay $1 million for the right to drive a cab? Something sounds fishy here. So why would anyone in their right mind buy a taxi medallion for over $1 million? This is a situation where no one is innocent. The drivers thought they were buying a monopoly enforced by the New York Police Department. You see, since it is illegal to drive a taxi without this medallion, people who own the medallion basically owns the right to a monopoly enforced by the police. Second, medallions became instruments of speculation rather than the right to perform a service in New York City. People had the notion that medallions would always keep going up because historically that's what they've been doing in the past. So individuals would frenzy around buying medallions just to have one and be part of the elite club. Lastly, and this one's not trivial, lending standards played a critical role in pumping the medallion bubble up. Medallion lenders dropped their standards for giving out loans, essentially creating predatory loans. They eliminated down payments, they piled fees on the borrowers, they even created deals that was interest only, which potentially allowed the loan to last indefinitely. This cheap but dangerous access to capital allowed drivers and businesses to get loans to buy overpriced medallions. Now, even though cabbies weren't making more money, the industry wasn't growing, the medallion prices kept going up because of this easy access to capital. And no one had an issue with it because people assumed that medallion prices would keep going up. But like every bubble, the taxi medallion one was bound to go bust. And what did it for taxi medallion was ride sharing. When Uber and Lyft came into the system, it destroyed the monopoly that the taxi medallion more or less promised drivers. And of course, that collapsed the bubble. Now, it is misleading to think that Uber and Lyft is what killed the value of the taxi medallion, because that's not the truth. The truth is that a taxi medallion had no business being $1 million in the first place. That's it for this episode. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want more street information. And of course, don't forget to download the Cityscape app if you want to check out cool secret spots in your city and meet other explorers like yourself. That's it for this episode, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.